Hello, everybody. Welcome to this amazing call that we have with the even more amazing Susanna Mittermaier. I'm so happy to have this conversation and invite you all to this new magic that we're creating. Thank you so much, Susanna, for being here.
Thank you for creating this, Bruno.
Well, I'm so excited. I think I'm gonna introduce you a little bit, if or maybe you can introduce yourself. Maybe that's gonna be better.
You go. That's fun to listen.
Okay, so let me all of you introduce the amazing Susanna Mittermaier. She's a certified facilitator of access consciousness, right now living in Austria, right? And she is the author of the amazing book that surely many of you have read, that it's called Pragmatic Psychology. And wow, that book, I have so much gratitude for that book because that changed so much my perspective on happiness and mental health and pragmaticity and how to actually live. So
And
I'm
that
so
one is in
excited for that.
Spanish. That's the
Yeah,
only one of my books that's in Spanish. All the other books are not in Spanish yet. What else?
yeah. What
Yeah.
would it take to have them all, the other ones? Because the Family Fairy Tale book is also like a
Mm.
masterpiece. So I knew Susanna. Well, I've got into many of her classes, and I really have amazing and deep change from all the awarenesses and questions that she can invite you on the spaces that she can invite you. So I met her at El Lugar, and I was like so excited with the energy that she was providing in her conversation. So I was like, would you like to come to Latin America, and would you like to come to Ecuador to share this magic with all of us? That maybe that's what we require right now, and that could open so much possibilities. And well, and here we are creating some amazing things, and I wanted you guys to know her. And what a better way to get to know her than her talking about magic. So I'm so excited for that.
Me too. Me too. And excited to come to Ecuador, definitely. Yes. Wow.
So, well, Susanna is I would say, I don't know if the founder is the appropriate word, the adequate word, of an access consciousness specialty called
Yeah.
Pragmatic Psychology.
Mhm.
And Pragmatic Psychology has all these amazing classes that can take you to many, many places and spaces with different topics and different tools and different questions. And that's a little bit of what I would like you to guys to get to know, because this is like a specialty that maybe we haven't get to hear a lot about in Latin America. So what would it take for all of the world to have these beautiful tools? And that's what we are going to talk here about: magic and where can you take it that you haven't taken it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you,
Absolutely.
Susanna, for being here.
Mm.
And I have some questions for you.
Yes, please.
Yay. So, and I don't know if maybe we're gonna take questions from the people or not. I'm not
Let's
sure
see.
about that. Okay. So, well, the topic of this call that we have scheduled is, where can you put your magic now that you haven't taken yet? And I think that the main question that I would like to ask you is, for people who are used to live normally and we are so used to a normal life, this thing of you being magic and you taking your magic to somewhere,
Uh-huh.
could you talk a little bit more about that? Like, in the
Okay.
face of normality, being magic?
Yeah.
What the hell is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Well, actually, so this is funny because we didn't prepare this. Like 10 minutes ago, I asked Bruno, will you ask me some questions? And he's like, yes. So I'm like, oh, let's see what he's gonna ask me. Which I love. I usually don't prepare for things like this because I love to be spontaneous and see what the energy brings. And what you guys being here live are such a gift, by the way. So thank you for being here, because you bring an energy to this conversation that you might not have acknowledged, but you being you being here, you being present with conversations, you're adding your energy, and that's magic. Okay, so let's acknowledge that. Even if you think, oh, I'm just listening, or I don't even have my camera on. No, you don't have to say anything or put your camera on. I would love for you to do it, of course, But if it's more like the acknowledgement of you being somewhere and saying yes to something, saying yes to, oh, or being the question of what can I receive from this conversation here together, that's the start of magic. You know, receiving is a big part of magic. Being is a big part of magic. So, like, if we use this moment right now, then let's acknowledge the magic of us getting together and going, okay, what can I receive from this conversation? What can I receive from these people here that I haven't even cognitively considered? Yeah. So that's one part of magic. Another thing that when you introduced me, I was looking at, okay, so this topic of magic. So if we use me as an example, I mean, we all haven't we all have moments where we try to be normal,
Mhm.
right? I mean, one or two moments, 1 or 2 seconds, maybe not a lot, right? So we all have moments where we try to fit in and be normal and make it so that people like us. And the thing is, if you try to make people like you have no other choice than being like other people, you know? So that's like a little bit of a big limitation. So the magic that we can open up in our lives is a lot about this. What can I bring to the world that no one else can bring to the world? Okay, so that's a question you can have, either say it out loud or have it like somewhere working in your world back there going, okay, what can I bring to the world that no one else can bring to the world? So I was asking myself something, not exactly that question, but something similar many, many years ago. I was a psychologist. I'm still a psychologist, but you know, I was trying to be a normal psychologist and therapist many, many, many years ago. And I was working in psychiatry. And that was before Access. And I always knew, like, I do not, like, I know I was different. And I had no idea how to utilize that difference in this very normal work field in with with that kind of label, that kind of title. So there, in the beginning, when I tried to be a normal psychologist, a normal therapist, it was so exhausting, and I almost gave up because I was depressed, I was not happy, and I, I was at this point where I'm like, okay, something else, I don't know what. Because nobody, like, there was no acknowledgement of, hey, you can have a job in this world with a normal title and you can be different and bring magic to it. Like, there's no one, back in the days, there was no one talking about this. There was not a conversation one has. There was more like, you did this education, now you do your job, like most of us, like, we've learned something and then you do your job out there and you're supposed to do it in a normal way. Except when we try to do our jobs in a normal way, wow, how much does it cost us? How much creativity do we have to cut off? How much of our energy does it cost us? It costs us a lot energetically and physically. Our bodies also feel it when we hold ourselves back, when we try to be normal. It costs us a lot of energy, and it costs us even financially if you hold yourself back. It shows up in so many different ways. So I had that going on, and I was almost going, okay, I'm going to do any other job than what I've learned to do because this is not making me happy anymore. So what else? And this was the moment when a friend of mine introduced me to Access. I met Gary Douglas. We had conversations, and he encouraged me to create something different with psychology. And so and all of that started with those conversations. And a lot of those conversations were the acknowledgement that how do you say, like, allowing myself the courage to be different, to have that title, but to go, how would I, like, if I had no reference point, how would I like to do this psychologist job? Me, like, what do I know? Not cognitively, not thinking about it, but how would I, if I have no reference point of how one is a normal psychologist, how would I do it? And this is how this whole journey started. And this is a question you can ask with anything you do. Like, if I had no reference point, how would I like to do what I do in the world? If I do not duplicate, if I don't compare myself, if there's no right or wrong way, how would I uniquely like to do this kind of work, this kind of job? Or how would I like uniquely to do parenting, relationships, whatever it is you are having as a main thing in your world right now? And this is really where the magic starts, with those questions, where you start to investigate and explore. Wow, okay, my only choice is not to be what other people want me to be. Wow, I can unleash, unpack what else there is that I can bring to the world. And you might have heard that conversation 1,000 times before, even, but how much more is there? You know, even if you have started to unleash doing things in a different way, your unique way, what else? Oh my goodness. Like, what if you just have started a little bit of what you can do and bring to the world and be different than anyone else? And that was the start of pragmatic psychology, which now is a life form worldwide. We have people who are called pragmatic practitioners who learn this kind of work, and they do this they use this out in the world as pragmatic practitioners. So it's a growing life form now, not just within Access but beyond Access, because that was the target. Also with Gary's conversation, we want to have people have these tools available, not just for people who know Access, but people who don't know it, people who are looking for ease, joy, and glory, and have this space of magic and possibilities available, whatever their job is, whatever they're dealing with. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that is so amazing. And wow. So thank you so much for that. And something that you said that I loved is like this, what magic actually is. And for example, us being together here is creating magic, because sometimes when we listen that word magic, maybe we are thinking of Harry Potter, and we're thinking of maybe lifting things without moving them. I don't know. But what else is magic that we haven't acknowledged? And this class has like this sense, this call has like this sense of acknowledging where is your unique magic, where do you put it, where do you have it.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
not
that's
hide it
amazing.
anymore. Yeah, and really, like, so many of us people who are different, we are so good at judging ourselves the moment something shows up where we might be different than other people, and we go, oh my God, no, I have to now shut down again. We're so good at that. And it costs us so much energy and so much of our creativity. What if it's time to end that now? And it is really time to end that now, especially also if we would like to create a wonderful world, a wonderful planet. Then it's definitely time to end that holding back and constant judgment and going, oh my God, I'm too much. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing, that question that you're asking like constantly, how much energy is costing you, like for example, not be truthful with you. And I'm thinking like, for example, in the industry world and the business world, and also in the mental health, all these things, like where, for example, I can put an example that has been popping up a lot in my world these days, like for example, depression. And when people are like depressed and don't have the energy of moving and creating, but how much is this question, like how much energy is costing you to not access what is unique about you, what is true about you, and how much energy is costing you to not take your magic to those places. So this is huge, like really, really huge, if we speak like planet wise, and
Yeah.
it's really amazing.
Definitely. And what you mentioned with depression is what it's interesting how like people out there talk about what depression is, and they always look for there's a cause,
Yeah.
and this cause and this cause. But if you look for like a cause, you always put it outside of you. You're like, oh, okay, I'm depressed because, and then maybe it's because of my childhood, or because, and it's always outside. So it's never about you being able to change it. It's never about something being empowering where you go, yeah, it might be something outside, but that's not why I'm depressed, Like there's something that I'm creating that makes this. And one of the elements is depression is always oftentimes a suppression. Like you suppress some part of you, you suppress what's true for you, you suppress like something like your aliveness, your difference. And that's where at some point, like most of us, I'm sure have suppressed a lot of us, a lot of us. And that, like, if you do it over a long time, you know how you're doing. You're like, like that energy of depression and being tired starts to be very, like, be there a lot in your world. And then you say, and then you might come up with a label, oh, now I am depressed, which means you have created a story around that, which is just cementing it even more in existence. But if you unravel it, you realize it all started, like, or you can ask, when did it all start? What choice did I make? What point of view did I buy that made this even start, And once you realize, oh, that's where I created it, that's the point of view I had, or many points of view, or whatever, that's the choice. That's where I started to make that choice that creates this, what I call depression now. Then you realize, oh, okay, I created it, I can uncreate it. And that's one of the most empowering things. And that's what I love about, also being pragmatic. Pragmatic means doing what works rather than being dramatic all the time, where you look for problems and difficulties. You look for, okay, every problem can be turned into a possibility. And that's so exciting for me to look and to work with all these years. It's like so wonderful. And it's so true for us that we know heaviness is not what's true for us. It's just not. The moments where we create heaviness, we invent something that's not true for us. Lightness, ease, joy, and glory, it's what's true for us. But what's required, especially now in the world we live in, constant reminder, again, again, again. What's true for me? Heaviness? No. Ease, joy, and glory? Yes. Okay, again, 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 until you really live it and embody it and know it for you.
Wow. And I think you guys are like perceiving all the possibilities. For example, just talking in one thing, for example, depression, all the possibilities that this conversation can open. But imagine having this in every field in the world. Like me, for example, being a little bit more interested in creating possibilities with depression. Okay, cool. But some of you creating different possibilities with business, and some of you more interested in creating more possibilities with parenthood, and some of you with bodies, and some of you with money. Like, I don't know if I get it rightly, but for me, that's what pragmatic practitioner is inviting us. Like, and that's what we chose the title for this call, like putting your magic where haven't you put it yet? Because how about we can have that magic, that uniqueness, that is joy and glory that you said that is true for us in all the fields of our life, like in business, in medicine, in selling, in investments, in education, in every field in our life. What would the world be like?
Yep. And us being the leaders of this. I mean, so many people are going, heaviness, they stop at heaviness. Have you noticed, guys? Like people, they're like, oh, it's heavy, and they stop asking questions. They're like, oh, that's just what is. They take it as reality. They don't explore what's beyond the heaviness. Have you guys noticed that? A lot of
Wow.
people do that. Like most people stop with heaviness and they don't go further. So what we, with the pragmatic practitioner training, it's a training, and the people who are then official pragmatic practitioners in the world, what we do is, one of the goals is being the leaders for what's actually true for us, which is not stopping at heaviness, but using the heaviness to get to the lightness. Like basically you receive, not, you don't avoid the heaviness, you receive it. What does that mean? So what we've learned is when something is heavy or hurts physically or mentally, what do? We try to get rid of it. We try to avoid it. Like, oh, let's take some medication, or let's just, oh, la, la, Facebook, or whatever. We do something to distract ourselves, to get rid of it and to avoid it. which does what? It gets stronger. Whatever you avoid, whatever you try to get rid of, it just gets stronger. And it's like that vicious circle. You try to get rid of it, it gets stronger. Rid of it, stronger. So it just keeps on going.
Wow.
So rather than like trying to get rid of what's heavy or hurts, what we do with this pragmatic approach is you receive it. You receive it, you use it shamelessly. You use it shamelessly and go, oh, thanks for the heaviness. Because what I always say, heaviness is just a fertilizer. Like every shit is just a fertilizer for something greater.
Mhm.
It always, like if you're not impressed by the heaviness and go, oh my God, Dios mío, if you're just like present with it and receive it, then it is something that can actually contribute to you to get to more greatness and more glory and more lightness. Always, whatever that heaviness is called, whether it's lack of money or depression or anxiety, stuff with relationships, anything, and I love this approach so much because you don't let yourself be stopped by anything that feels heavy or uncomfortable. You go further, you go further. And with the pragmatic practitioners as leaders, they inspire other people to do so. So the pragmatic practitioner movement is where they learn those different tools and this different approach of pragmatic psychology. And then they go out into the world and then they facilitate, they inspire other people, whoever those people are in their field, to go from problem to possibility. And some of the pragmatic practitioners, yes, they're coaches, they're therapists. Some of them are teachers, parents, grandparents. Some of them are doctors. Some of them are hairdressers. Like we have a very big range of people with very many different backgrounds, but all of them somehow have this joy of inspiring other people, whether it's children or grown-ups, doesn't matter, whether it's their own people in their lives or people that pay them for sessions. But it's really this where people learn this art of inspiring change. They learn this art of facilitating change. And it's a very unique class. And I'm very, very excited that it's out there. And I gotta say again, thanks to Gary Douglas, because he inspired me and invited me to do this class, because it's about using the tools, using these tools, these wonderful tools that we've learned in access classes. But how do I get them out there to people who don't know this yet? How can I talk about this? How can I inspire people? How can I get this into schools, into hospitals, into companies? So it's really this bridge out there, and it's happening. We have people doing this as the pragmatic practitioners. They work with businesses, they work with schools, they work with their own clients, and it's for anyone who has never worked with clients, and it's for people who have done this for a long time and just want to add a new approach. So it's very diverse, and you don't have to be a psychologist, please. It doesn't have anything to do with normal, psychology. It's a very different approach. So you don't have to have any knowledge about any of this at all. It's actually good if you don't, because you're open for something new. And yeah, it's just really exciting me to see. And the pragmatic practitioners that we have now, they're so wonderful people, really inspiring the world. Maybe you've seen some Zooms with them, or the advent calendar we just had for Christmas, where they did some Zooms by themselves and facilitated. It's making me really happy to see how every one of them uses their uniqueness to inspire other people. So it's a very unique training that's growing and growing worldwide. So yeah, very excited.
And I'm so excited to have it in Latin America.
Yeah,
Is this the first time that
we had it in
there's that?
Mexico
Okay,
like
amazing.
many years ago, when the world was in a different, road. Before COVID, we had it in Mexico, and after that, we have not, and it's no, we hadn't had it anywhere else actually. No. Mm.
That's amazing.
Mm.
That's amazing. So I'm so excited for these possibilities that you're inviting us. As maybe of many of you surely have acknowledged, Susanna is really inspiring when she talks, and the energy that she shows you of what else is possible and many other possibilities. That's something that got me to invite her. And It's been a pleasure to create with you. I'm so excited for that. There was a question here that they were saying, what does it take to become a pragmatic practitioner?
So you can start with one class. It's a 3-day pragmatic practitioner class. You can take it live or online. Of course, we would love to have you live, and you can also join online. And in this class, it's like we have a part where you get to know the how do I even do this stuff? How do I bring this out there? A lot of that. Then it's also about you, because this class is not about just how do I facilitate other people, but it's also how do I facilitate me. That's a big part, because we cannot just teach other people and inspire and leave us out. It's being very honest with us, being vulnerable and going, okay, I'd like to have ease, joy, and glory for me. So I'd like to use this stuff for me also. So it's this vulnerable place of, okay, I'm doing this for me as well. And then we have a part where we practice, like it's really a hands-on practicing facilitation in this class. So after this class, you get a certificate from this class, and you can already say to everyone in the world, I have this certificate, I have done this class. I work with the tools of pragmatic psychology. You can do this wherever you want and go wild with it. If you want to go on and become a pragmatic practitioner, you need 2 of these classes, of these 3-day classes, plus the mental illness call that I did a while ago. It's in my shop. It's a 3-part telecall where it's about what are the capacity, like how do you facilitate anxiety, depression? What else did we have? All these things that a lot of people come to you with. So you have some knowledge about those things and how to facilitate them specifically. And that's a call that I have in my shop, a 3-part call. And that's it. That's all you need to become a pragmatic practitioner. Then you can join the program. And there's a web page. You can put your name and your contact email there for people to find you for sessions or whatever they want from you. And yeah, and then there's all this information we can put somewhere. So you guys, there's a link for that. Great. So there's a
Yeah.
link. You can read it.
And also they were asking about the prerequisite of this class. The prerequisite of this class is a foundation class taken at any time, right?
Yeah. I think we have bars and foundation. Yeah. Because the foundation class is like the parts of 10 keys and distractor implants. There's those parts, and some others are really, really important. And we use that then to move on, and use it in the class.
Amazing.
Mm.
Amazing. So, well, I think thank you so much for this conversation. That has been amazing. I am so excited to let you all guys know Susanna is going to come to Latin America. She's going to give 2 amazing classes in Ecuador that the both can be taken also online. And they are the Pragmatic Practitioner 3-day class with the foundation prerequisite. And also we have a 1-day class that I think I'm so excited for that one also.
Ah,
That is called Shamelessly You.
yeah,
A 1-day class that doesn't have any prerequisite, right?
yeah.
And we have the possibilities of taking those classes wherever you are in the world. And if you choose to come to Ecuador and travel, you will get to see a lot of beauty and a lot of
Mm.
beautiful things. I think you
Yeah.
guys are also excited for that, right?
I am very excited to see Ecuador. I've never been there in this lifetime, so I'm happy to see the beauty of it. Yeah. And the Shameless You class, that's a 1-day class, no prereqs, live online. And it's also a pragmatic psychology class. It's a new creation. We've had it for a year about, and it's really about, it's a lot about what we had in the conversation before about shine like never before, shine and inspire the world with you. Stop holding back, and just go. And how would you like to use this in everything, like the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you write, the way you express yourself, like just go. And shame is such a big thing, and letting go of that and see what's beyond it for you. And a big, like on the graphic you will see the peacock, And the peacock is the logo for Pragmatic Psychology. And people always ask, why the peacock? And and the peacock for me is such a cool inspiration because he's like putting out his feathers and then he goes, I know I'm awesome. I know I'm beautiful and you're welcome. He knows that his beauty is a gift to the world. He knows that he's an inspiration with his beauty and he inspires other people to be beautiful and other people to not hold back and other people to be great and wonderful. And if people don't see him, if people ignore him, he it doesn't mind. It's not a problem for him. He just keeps on being beautiful, however people receive him or not. And that's a great example for me for how we can live our lives. Like you go for your greatness, and you don't worry if people receive you or not. You're great for you because you have fun being great, no matter how people receive you or not. And one last thing about the peacock, what I love, he has a very tiny brain, which is
Yeah.
such a gift. So he cannot be complicated. He cannot think and make everything complicated and difficult, like, oh, like this and this. He's just like, hi, I, boop, like nothing here, just being and receiving. Yeah. So I love that. That's why we have the peacock.
Wow, that's so cool. So, well, guys, imagine having all this presence and uniqueness and magic in everything that you do, if it's business, if it's parenthood, if it is a healing, if it is facilitating, and having also these tools for you to use it for you to create change for you and also for the world. These are the possibilities that we are inviting you all to this. So if any of you are interested in these classes, you can contact me or contact Chris or contact Juanjo. And we're going to have these classes in April in Quito, Ecuador. The Pragmatic Practitioner class is going to be in April from the 5th to the 7th. And the Shamelessly You class is going to be in Ecuador, April 4, right? I
Mhm.
think,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
4.
day before. Mhm.
So we're going to have these two amazing classes and have too much fun. You can take it in Ecuador, Quito live, or you can take it also online and get to receive the amazingness of Susanna's facilitation and the
And all
gift
of
of
us
you
and all of
and the
you,
gift of
like
you.
all of
Yeah.
our amazingness. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Susanna,
Thank
for
you.
this amazing, amazing gift. Thank you all for coming. And what else is possible?
Yay. Peacock all over the world.
Yes.
All of us being the peacocks we are. Thank you guys for being here and adding your magic. And thank you, Bruno. And thank you for translating, Chris. Really amazing. And would love to see you. Ta ta.